Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Cracku. In this video, I have recorded the video solutions for all the questions in Quant from slot 1 of CAT 2025. The question will be first showed to you. Please try to solve the question on your own before you look at the video solution. If you have any doubts in any one of the 22 questions, please feel free to comment below this video. I look at all the comments and I'll try to respond to them to the best of my ability. In addition to this video, I'll also urge you to watch three very important videos. One is the 100 quant questions that you must know, where we are looking at 100 questions which are very important for CAT with detailed video solution. The second one is the complete quant revision. This was done by Saili. She discusses all the important concepts that are needed for CAT. The third one is a 7-hour video where I and Saili explain all the important formulas that are needed for CAT. The links for all the three videos are given in the description of this video. After you finish this video, definitely go through all three of those videos. In this question, we are given two quadratic equations, f of x and g of x. We are required to calculate the value of c, for which the minimum value of this quadratic function is greater than the maximum value of another quadratic function. Now, one thing that you have to remember is, if you have a quadratic equation which is of the form f of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Now, this will have a minimum only if a is greater than 0. This will have a maximum only if a is less than 0. And both of them occur at the same point. The minimum value occurs if a is greater than 0, maximum value occurs if a is less than 0, and both of them occur when x is equal to minus b by 2a. That is minus of the coefficient of x divided by 2 times the coefficient of x square. Here the coefficient of x square is positive, so this will have a minimum value. Here the coefficient of x square is negative, so this will have a maximum value. Let us look at f of x. F of x is x square minus 4cx plus 8c. Now, at what point does it have its minimum value? It will occur when x is equal to minus of minus 4c, which is 4c, divided by 2, which is equal to 2c. So, what is the value? What is the minimum value? For that, we will just substitute x is equal to 2c in this quadratic equation to get the minimum value, which will be x square, which is 4c square, minus 4c into 2c, which is 8c square, plus 8c. So, the minimum value is minus 4c square plus 8c. This is the minimum value of f of x. Let us now look at g of x. G of x is equal to minus x square plus 3cx minus 2c. Now, at what point will it have its maximum value? It will have its maximum value when x is equal to minus 3c divided by minus of minus 1, so minus 2, which is equal to 3c by 2. So, when x is equal to 3 by 2, g of x will have its maximum value. And what will that be? For that, we will just substitute x is equal to 3c by 2. X minus x square is minus 9c square by 4 plus 3c is plus 3c into 3c by 2 minus 2c, which is equal to minus 9c square by 4 plus 9c square by 2 minus 2c, which is equal to 9c square by 4 minus 2c. This is the maximum value of g of x. This is the minimum value of f of x. We want the minimum value of f of x to be greater than the maximum value of g of x. So, minus 4c square plus 8c has to be greater than 9c square by 4 minus 2c. If you simplify it, we are going to get, if you can take it that side, it will be 4c square plus 9c square by 4 minus 10c has to be less than 0. Or this is 25c square by 4 minus 10c is less than 0. We can divide the entire equation with 5, we want 5c square by 4 minus 2c to be less than 0, or we want 5c square minus 8c to be less than 0. This is c into c minus 8 by 5 should be less than 0. This would imply that c has to belong to, that is, c has to lie between 0 and 8 by 5. 8 by 5 is 1.6. So we are looking for a value of c which lies between 0 and 1.6. If you are looking at the options, it is not minus 2, it is not 2, it is not minus 1 by 2. All three of them don't lie within that region. Amongst the options, the only one which lies in that region is option B, and this will be the answer. In this question, we are told that there is Shruti who travels 224 kilometers in 3 hours as 4 parts. Her speeds in the 4 parts follow a arithmetic progression. The corresponding time also follows an arithmetic progression in each of these 4 parts. At the start, she travels at 960 meter per second and she travels for 30 minutes to cover the first part. Then the distance in meters that she travels in the 4th part is. So let us assume that these are the 4 parts. This is the distance that she traveled in the first part. This is it in the second part. This is it in the third part and the 4th part. Now what we know is that speed is in a arithmetic progression. We know that in the first part she traveled at 960 meters per minute. So let us assume that the speed is 0.96 kilometers per minute. Let us assume that the difference is, the common difference of the arithmetic progression is d. So in the second part she traveled at 0.96 plus d. In the third one she would travel at 0.96 plus 2d. And in the last one she traveled at 0.96 plus 3d. The time that she traveled also is in an arithmetic progression. We are told that the first part she traveled for 30 minutes. Second one, let us assume that the common difference is d1. So she traveled at 30 plus d1 minutes. For the third part, she would have traveled for 30 plus 2d1. And for the last one, it is 30 plus 3d1. So what is the total time that she traveled? The total time that she traveled is 30 plus d1 plus 30 plus 2d1 plus 30 plus 3d1, which will come to equal 120 plus 6d1. This will equal 3 hours, which is 180 minutes, or 6d1 is equal to 60. So the value of d1 is equal to 10 minutes. This would imply that if she traveled for 30 minutes for the first part, the second part she traveled 30 plus d1, which is 40 minutes. The next part she traveled 30 plus 2d1, which is 50 minutes. And the last one she traveled 30 plus 3d1, which is 60 minutes. So what is the total distance that she traveled? It will be 0.96 into 30, which will come to equal, we'll figure it out, 0.96 into 30 plus 0.96 plus d into 40. And in the third part, she would have traveled 0.96 plus 2d into 50. And in the last part, she would have traveled 0.96 plus 3d into 60. So this is the total distance that she traveled, which will be 0.96 into 30 plus 0.96 into 40 plus 0.96 into 50 plus 0.96 into 60. This is simply equal to 0.96 into 180 plus d into 40 plus 2d into 50 plus 6d into 3d into 60, which is 320d. This has to equal 224. This is the total distance that she traveled. This is given in the question itself, that the total distance that she covered is 224. We have to simplify it. What is 0.96 into 80? This will be 9.6 into 18. This will be, this is 8, this is 4, this is 76.8, and this is 96. This will be 0.82117. So this will be 172.8 plus 320d is equal to 224, or the value of 320d is equal to 51.2, or the value of d, you can simplify it, will be 0.16. This would imply that the speed in the second part is 0.96 plus 0.16, which is 1.12 kilometers per hour. In the third one, you have to again increase by 0.16. So this is 1.28 kilometers per minute. And in the last one, it will be 1.44 kilometers per minute. This is the speed in the four parts. We are asked to calculate the distance that she covered in the fourth part. And we have to express it in meters. So this will be equal to 1.44. This is the speed, kilometer. So you multiply it with 1000. And how much time did she travel? She traveled for 60 minutes. If you simplify this, this will be 86,400. So the answer for this question is option D. In this question, we are told that there is a 3-digit number n. So it has 3 digits. Let us assume this is the first digit, this is the second digit, and this is the third digit. All the digits are non-zero, so the 0 is not part of it, and distinct, such that none of the digits is a perfect square. So each of the digits, which of them can it not be equal to the digits? It cannot be equal to 0. They cannot be equal to 1 or 4 or 9. And only one of the digits is a prime number. What are the single digit prime numbers? You have 2, 3, 5 and 7. So one of the 3 digits is a prime number. So one of them has to be 2, 3, 5 or 7. And all the others are composite numbers. What are the composite numbers? We have 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and I think 8. These are the only 2 numbers that are remaining. So basically one of the digits has to be a prime number and the remaining 2 have to be 6 and 8. We are required to calculate the number of factors of the minimum possible value of n. So what is the minimum possible value of n? It has 3 digits. One of them is a prime number, so it is 2, 3, 5 or 7. The remaining 2 digits are 6 and 8. So the smallest possible value will be 2, 6 and 8. And how many factors does this number 268 have? To calculate the number of factors, let us first do the prime factorization of this number. Prime factorization will be, this is 2 into 134, which is 2 square into 67. 2 is a prime number, 67 is a prime number. So this is the prime factorization of 268. For any given number n, if this is of the form p1 to the power a1 into p2 to the power a2 into dot 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 into pr to the power ar, the number of factors of n will be equal to a1 plus 1 into a2 plus 1 into dot 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 into ar plus 1. This is the number of factors. In this particular case, the value is 2 square into 67 to the power 1. So the number of factors will be 2 plus 1, which is 3, into 1 plus 1, which is 2. So the number of factors will be 6. So the answer for this particular question will be equal to 6. In this question, we are told that x lies between 3 and 6, both of them included, and it is such that the integer part of x square is equal to the square of the integer part of x. Now we are required to calculate the set S where all the feasible values of x exist, and we are given 4 options. We are required to calculate which of them is a subset of S. Let us first try to understand what exactly is given. We are told that the square of the integer part of x is equal to the integer part of the square of x. Let us look at, say, x is equal to 3. What is the integer part of x? The integer part of x is 3. So what is the square of the integer part of x? This will be 9. Now what is x square? X square will be 9. So the integer part of x square is equal to 9. This and this are the same. So x is equal to 3 will be part of the set S. Let us look at x is equal to 3.5. If you are looking at x is equal to 3.5, what is integer part of x? Integer part of x is again 3. What is integer part of x whole square? This will again be 9. What about x square? What is 3.5 whole square? 3.5 whole square is 12.25. Therefore, the integer part of x square is 12. This and this are not the same. So 3.5 will not be part of the set S. So when will it actually stop? If you think about it, when x is equal to 3, x square will be 9. As x continues to increase, at some point x square will be 9.5. At some point x square will be 9.8. At some point x square will be 9.9. And x square will touch 10 at some point. When x square touches 10, the integer part of x square becomes 10. But for all of them, the integer part of x will be 3 only. The square root of 9 is 3, square root of 10 I think will be around say 3.1. So the integer part of x will remain 3. This will lie between 3 and 3.14 or something. So the integer part of x will remain 3, and therefore the integer part of x whole square will remain 9. So as long as the integer part of x square is 9, then it belongs to the set. So if you think about it, the set S will consist of all x such that x belongs to 3 to square root of 10. Is there any other part? You would think about it, even if you're looking at the options, you will realize that okay, there are other options also available. When you are looking at other integers, once it touches 4, to square root of 17 also it will be part of the set. Similarly, when it is 5 and square root of 26 also it will be part of the set. You should not stop over here. When I was first solving it, I thought this is just S, but luckily when I was going through the options, I saw this part also. 6 also satisfies the given condition. In fact, for every integer, integer part of x square will be equal to integer part of x whole square. This is the value of S. S will lie as long as x belongs to 3 and square root of 10. 3 is included. It should also be between 4 and square root of 17. Because if you think about it intuitively, square root of 17 will be approximately 4.0 something, 4.1 if you assume it. So integer part of x will be 4. Integer part of x whole square will be 16. So integer part of x square should be 16. Only then it will satisfy. But once x crosses square root of 17, integer part of x square becomes 17 or 18 or 19, and after that it stops belonging to the set S. These are the values for which these are the values of x for which the given equation is satisfied. So this is the value of the set S. Now amongst them, if you are looking at the options that are given, option A is a subset. There is no value of x in this particular interval which does not belong to the set. You can argue that, but sir, some of the values are not part of it. For example, we are not given 4 to square root of 17. That is fine. We are saying that this is a subset. This is not the value of S. This is a subset. If you are looking at option B consists of a value which does not belong to S, which is square root of 10. Now, for people who don't know, if you are given curved brackets, like say 3 and 10, this consists of all the values which belong to 3 and 10, but 3 is not included, 10 is not included, because you are having curved brackets. If you are given square brackets like this includes all the values from 3 to 10, and it also includes 3, it also includes 10, because you are having square brackets. Here you are given square brackets. So it is being mentioned that square root of 10 belongs to this subset, but square root of 10 does not belong to S. Remember that square root of 10, we discussed this earlier. The integer part of x square will be 10. Therefore, square root of 10 does not belong to S. So this is not a subset. Even over here, we are given square root of 10 and a square bracket. So they are including this, even square root of 17, both of them don't belong to S. So this is not a subset. In this particular case, we have 4 to square root of 18. So there will be some values between square root of 17 and square root of 18, which are not part of S. Therefore, option D is also not a subset. The only option which is actually a subset is option A. That will be the correct answer.
The best way to start your CAT prep is with a high quality mock, and the best price for that is free. At Cracku, you get 3 CAT mocks absolutely free. And this isn't just a trial, it's a full length mocks crafted by 5-time 100 percentiler Maruti Sir himself to give you real exam experience. You get a detailed analysis of your performance and a video solution for every question. Ready to test yourself? Go to Google and just search Cracku CAT mock test.
In this question, we are told that there are 3 stocks A, B and C, and they are priced at 120, 90 and 150 per share. So we have A, we have B and we have C. A is priced at 120 per share, B is priced at 90 per share and C is priced at 150 per share. Now, a trader holds 10 stocks of A and 20 stocks of B and C put together. So let us assume that he has, say, P stocks of B and therefore he'll have 20 minus P stocks of C, because the total number of stocks of B and C together is 20. The total value of her portfolio is 3,300. So what is the total value of the stocks of A? That will be 120 into 10, which is 1200. Total of B will be 90 into P, which is 90P. And total of C is 150 into 20 minus P, which is 3000 minus 150P. What is the total? The total will be 4200, which is 1200 plus 3000 minus 60P. This we are told is 3300. Or the value of 60P is equal to 900, or the value of P is equal to 15, which is 15. So the number of stocks of stock B that he holds is 15. So the answer for this question will be 15. In this question, we are told that for any natural number k, ak is 3 to the power k. We are asked to calculate the smallest natural number m, for which a1 to the power 1, a2 to the power 2, dot 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 into a20 to the power 20 is less than a21 into a22 into dot 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 into a20 plus m. This seems like a complex question, but let us try to break it into 2 parts. Let us first look at the left hand side and then look at the right hand side. If you are looking at the left hand side, what is a1? a1 is 3 to the power 1. So a1 to the power 1 is simply equal to 3 to the power 1. What is a2? a2 is 3 square. So a2 to the power 2 is 3 to the power 4. What is a3? a3 is 3 to the power 3. So a3 to the power 3 is 3 to the power 9. So now you can see that the powers of 3 are perfect squares. Similarly, what is a20? a20 is 3 to the power 20. Therefore, a20 to the power 20 is equal to 3 to the power 400, which is 20 square. So the left hand side is 3 to the power 1 into 3 to the power 4 into 3 to the power 9 into dot 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 into 3 to the power 400. This is equal to 3 to the power 1 plus 4 plus 9 plus dot 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 till 400. What is the sum of the perfect squares? We know the formula for the sum of the first n perfect squares. That is 1 square plus 2 square plus dot 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 plus n square is equal to n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 divided by 6. For any natural number n, the sum of 1 square plus 2 square plus dot 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 till n square is given by n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 divided by 6. In this particular case, the value of n is 20. Because we are asked to calculate the sum of 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus dot 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 till 20 square. So this sum will be equal to 20 into 21 into 41 divided by 6. 21 divided by 3 is 7, this is 2, this is 10. This will become equal to 2870. or what we are asked to calculate is that the left hand side is 3 to the power 2870. This has to be less than the right hand side. And what is the right hand side? It is A21 into A22 into dot 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 into A20 plus M. If you are looking at the right hand side, let us look at the right hand side now. A21 is 3 to the power 21 into A22 is 3 to the power 22 into dot 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 into 3 to the power 20 plus M. Or this will be equal to 3 to the power 21 plus 22 plus dot 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 plus 20 plus M. This exponent is basically the sum of a arithmetic progression where the first term is 21, the last term is 20 plus M, and there are M terms. To calculate the sum of an arithmetic progression where you know the first term and the last term and the number of terms, the sum of the arithmetic progression will be the first term plus the last term divided by 2 into the number of terms, or this is equal to M into M plus 41 divided by 2. This is the exponent and we always have 3 in the number. So we want 3 to the power 2870 to be less than 3 to the power M into M plus 41 divided by 2. Or comparing only the exponents, we want 2870 to be less than M into M plus 41 divided by 2. Or we want M into M plus 41 to be greater than 2870 into 2, which is 5740. Now the quick way and the smartest way is just finding out different values of M for which this is going to increase, because this is going to increase as the value of M increases. An even smarter way to do it is by looking at the options. If you look at the options, we have 56, 57, 58 and 59. Let us compare the value of M into M plus 41 when say M is 56. When M is 56, M into M plus 41 will be 56 into 97. Now 56 into 100 is 5600. 56 into 97 will be definitely less than 5600. So this is definitely less than 5740. When M is equal to 57, M into M plus 41 is 57 into 98. Again, 57 into 100 is 5700. So 57 into 98 will be less than 5700 and therefore this will be less than 5740. When M is equal to 58, this will be 58 into 99. 58 into 100 is 5800. 5800 minus 58 is 5742, which is greater than 5740. So the first time this inequality is satisfied is when M is equal to 58. Therefore, the answer for this particular question is option A, which is 58. In this question, we are asked to calculate the number of distinct integers n for which log of the argument is n square minus 7n plus 11 and the base is 1 by 4 is greater than 0. One thing we need to remember is if the base is greater than 1, if log of a to the base b is greater than 0, if b is greater than 1, it would imply that a is greater than 1. If b is less than 1, it would imply that a is less than 1. So if you are given log of a to the base b, depending on whether the base is greater than 1 or less than 1, we can figure out whether the argument is greater than 1 or less than 1. In this particular case, the base is 1 by 4, which is less than 1. So this would imply that n square minus 7n plus 11 has to be less than 1, or n square minus 7n plus 10 has to be less than 0. This is n minus 2 into n minus 5 has to be less than 0. So n has to belong to 2, 5. We are only looking for integers. So the value of n will be either 3 or 4. However, the question doesn't end over here. Whenever you are given log of a to the base b, for this logarithm to be defined, some conditions have to be satisfied. First, the argument a has to be greater than 0. Second, the base b has to be greater than 0 and the base b cannot be equal to 1. These are the three conditions that are needed for the logarithm to be defined. Here we are given the base is 1 by 4. These two conditions are satisfied, but the first condition also has to be satisfied. So we want the argument, which is n square minus 7n plus 11, to be greater than 0. The two values of n that we found were satisfying our conditions were when n is 3 and 4. Here when n is equal to 3, this expression will be equal to 9 minus 21 plus 11, which is equal to minus 1. So the logarithm is not defined when n is 3. What will happen when n is 4? When n is 4, this is 16 minus 28 plus 11, which is again equal to minus 1. So again the logarithm is not defined. Therefore, this inequality is not satisfied for any integral value of n. So the correct answer is option D. In this question, we are asked to calculate number of distinct pairs of integers x, y, which satisfy the inequalities x is greater than y, which itself is greater than or equal to 3, and x plus y is less than 14. So what is the maximum value of x plus y? X plus y is less than 14. Because x and y, both of them are integers, the maximum value it can take is 13. This is the value of x plus y. So let us consider the different cases. The smallest possible value of y is 3. So if y is 3, what are the values x can take? X has to be greater than y. So x can be 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. So it can take a total of 7 values. This is when y is equal to 3. What will happen when y is equal to 4? X has to be greater than y. So x is either 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Because remember that x plus y, the maximum value it can take is 13. These are 5 values. What will happen when y is 5? When y is 5, x will be greater than 5. So x is either 6 or 7 or 8. Because you want x plus y to be at max equal to 13. These are 3 values. And what will happen when y is 6? When y is 6, x will take only 7 because 6 plus 7 is already 13. So here it can take a maximum of 1 value. So the total number of values it can take is 7 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1, which will come to equal 16 values. So the answer for this particular question is 16. One of the things that I want to tell you is in these last few days in the run up to CAT, solving a lot of questions will be very useful to you. So we have created a lot of PDFs which include useful questions. You can download those PDF. You have to just Google search Cracku Quant topic wise questions and you will get the PDFs and try to solve them on your own. Once you solve the question or once you struggle to solve the question, the link for the video solution is given in the PDF itself. These PDFs have been downloaded thousands of times in the last few weeks. I'm sure they'll be very useful to you. Download these PDFs and try to solve them. Again, just you have to Google search Cracku Quant topic wise questions to get the PDFs. In this question, we are told that at a certain simple rate of interest, let us assume that the rate of interest is R. A certain given sum, let the principal be equal to P. It amounts to 13,920 in 3 years and it amounts to 18,916 6 years and 6 months. If the same sum had been invested for 2 years at the same rate, but with the interest compounded every 6 months, what is the total interest earned? This is basically what is asked to us. Initially, we are given two pieces of information where the interest was compounded using simple interest. So what is the simple interest? On a principal of P, at a rate of R at a time period T, it will be P into R into T divided by 100. So the amount will be principal plus simple interest. So P plus, initially it was for 3 years. So P into 3 into R by 100 is 13,920. Next, it is for 6.5 years. So P plus P into 6.5 years into R divided by 100 is given as 18,960. Yeah. So if you subtract one equation from the other, we are going to get 3.5 into P into R by 100 is equal to 5,040. This is 18,960 minus 13,920. You can simplify this. You are going to get P into R is divided by 100 is 5,040 divided by 3.5, which will be equal to 1440. So we can substitute PR by 100 over here in any one of the two equations, because PR by 100 is 1440. 3 times PR by 100 will be 4,320. You can substitute it over here. So the value of P will be P plus 4320 is equal to 13920, or the value of the principal is 9,600. Once the principal is known, even the interest can be calculated, because P into R by 100 is 1440. So 9,600 into R by 100 is 1440, or the value of R is 15. So the rate of interest is 15%. Now this principal is invested at this interest rate, but it is compounded semi-annually. That is, it is compounded every 6 months, and it is invested for 2 years. What is the amount? The amount is P into 1 plus R by 100 whole to the power T. But this is if the interest is compounded every year. If the interest is compounded after every 6 months, that is, if it is compounded semi-annually, the amount will be P into 1 plus R by 2 divided by 100. This is R by 2 whole to the power 2 times T. This is the formula we should use, because the interest is compounded semi-annually, and this will equal 9,600 into 1 plus 15 by 2 divided by 100 whole to the power 4. There is no easy way to solve it. You have to use your calculator, and you will get this to be close to 12,821. This is the amount, this is the principal. The difference between these two will be the accrued interest, and that will equal 12,821 minus 9,600, which is equal to 3,221. So the answer for this particular question will be option A, which is 3,221. In this particular question, we are told that there is a mixture of acid and water. It is a solution. Sometimes some part of it is removed and it is replaced with water. Sometimes some part is removed and replaced with acid, and this continues, and we are asked to calculate the final percentage of acid in the solution. Before we answer this particular question, I will explain the quick way to solve these kind of questions. Suppose you are given a mixture. Like in this particular case, suppose it is acid and water. Because both of them add up to 100%, let us assume that the percentage of acid is A% and percentage of water is 100 minus A%, because everything else will be acid. So if you are removing A% of acid, the remaining will be water. If say 10% of this is removed and it is replaced with acid, then the percentage of water becomes equal to 100 minus A into 0.9. This is if it is replaced with 10% acid. So whatever it is being replaced with, the other one, you multiply it with 100 minus 10%. Suppose you are actually told that instead of 10%, it is being replaced with 20% of it is being replaced with acid. What is 100 minus 20? It is 80. So the percentage of water you have to multiply with 80%. If 20% is being replaced with acid, the percentage of water becomes 100 minus A into 0.8, and whatever is the rest will be acid. That is, you calculate 100 minus A into 0.8, subtract it from 100, you will get the amount of acid. Suppose you are told that it is being replaced with water. Suppose you are told that, say, 30% of this is being replaced with water. Then you multiply the percentage of acid with 100 minus 30. What is 100 minus 30? It is 70%. So if 30% is replaced with water, the percentage of acid becomes 0.7A, and everything else is water. So the percentage of water becomes 100 minus 0.7A. This is the quick way in which we can solve these kind of questions. In this particular case, if you are looking at it, what is the initial concentration of acid and water? The initial concentration of acid is 30%. So acid is 30%, water will be the remaining 70%. Now what is the first replacement? The first replacement is 20% of the solution is replaced with water. If it is replaced with water, we decrease the composition of acid and we'll decrease it by 20%. So the amount of acid becomes equal to 30% into 0.8, which is 24%. And the remaining 100 minus 24, that is 76%, will be water. This is after the first replacement. After that, 10% of the resulting solution is now replaced with acid. Now we are having 10% acid replacement. If you are replacing it with acid, the percentage of water decreases. And what does it become? The percentage of water becomes 76% into 0.9, because 10% of the solution is replaced. And what is 76 into 0.9? 76 into 9 is 63. So this will be 68.4%. So the percentage of water becomes 68.4%, and the percentage of acid becomes 31.6%. And finally it is replaced, and finally replaces 15% of the solution thus obtained with water. So again, now we are replacing 15% with water. If you are replacing with water, the percentage of acid decreases. And what does it become? It becomes 31.6, which is the percentage of acid, into 0.85. Now you can calculate the value of 31.6 into 0.85. If you have the calculator, you can calculate it easily. Others will just calculate it. What is 31.6 into 85? It is 316 into 85. This will be 1580. We have a 0. 316 into 8 is, this is 128. I think it will be 2528. 2528. So this will be 0, this will be 6, this is 1, this is 8, this is, so this will be 26.86%. So the percentage of acid after all of these things are done will be very close to 27%, which is option D. In this question, we are told that there were more than 10 boys and a certain number of girls in a class. Let us assume that the number of boys is equal to B and number of girls is equal to G. We are told that the number of boys is greater than 10. After 40% of the girls and 60% of the boys left the class, so if 40% of the boys left, what is the number of boys remaining? Number of boys remaining will be 0.6B. And 60% of, 40% of the girls and 60% of the boys. So 60% of the boys left, that is 0.6B have left. So remaining is 0.4B. 40% of the girls left. That is 0.4G have left. And the number of girls remaining is 0.6G. what we are told is that the number of girls is 8 more than the number of boys. So 0.6g is equal to 0.4b plus 8. We can multiply this entire equation with 5. We will be getting, this is 3g is equal to 2b plus 40. Now, what do we know about g and b? One thing that is already given is that b is greater than 10. Another thing we should note is, if you are talking about 60% of the boys left, then what is the number of boys? Can the number of boys be any number? For example, can the number of boys be 12? If the number of boys is 12, what is 60% of boys? It is 7.2. Therefore, the number of boys cannot be any number because you can't have 7.2 boys. It will be either 7 boys or 8 boys. Can it be 13? What is 60% of 13? It is 7.8. What if the number of boys is 14? It will be 60% of 14, which is 8.4. All of these are not possible. You are not going to have 7.5 boys. You will have either 7 boys or 8 boys. If the number of boys is 15, 60% of 15 is 9. This is valid. So now we will know that there is a certain type of values that B can take, because 0.4b is equal to 2b by 5. So b divided by 5 has to be a integer. In this case, 12 by 5 is not an integer, 13 by 5 is not an integer, 14 by 5 is not an integer, but 15 by 5 is an integer. So what we are essentially saying is that b and g have to be multiples of 5. Otherwise, 0.4b or 0.6g, these things will not be integers. So we will be talking about fractions of human beings, which is absurd. And we also want 3g to be equal to 2b plus 40. If 3g is equal to 2b plus 40, the right hand side is even. 2b is even, 40 is even. So 3g also has to be even. Or g has to be even. So immediately you will notice that g has to be even, g has to be a multiple of 5. So g has to be a multiple of 10. And we want 3g to be equal to 2b plus 40. So we'll just try to figure out what is the smallest value of g and b which satisfy this given equation. 3g has to be greater than 40. If g is equal to say 20, 3g will be 60 and b will be equal to 10. But this is not valid because we are told that the number of boys b has to be greater than 10. So this is not valid. If g is equal to 30, 3g is 90, 2b will be equal to 50 and b is equal to 25. This is valid. So the smallest possible number of students is b plus g, which is 55. So the answer for this particular question is 55. In this question, we are told that there is a cafeteria which offers 5 types of sandwiches. So sandwiches, there are 5 types. Then we have 4 breads and the customer has to select exactly one of these 4 breads. And he can either go for small or large size. So if you're looking for size, there are again 2 choices. It will be either small or large. And then finally, we are looking for, optionally, he can select a maximum of 2 out of 6 available sauces. So if you're looking at the sauces, there are 6 available, out of which this guy can either choose no sauce or he can choose one sauce, or he can choose two sauces. So the type of sandwiches, this can be selected in 5 ways. Because there are 5 types, he has to select only one type of sandwich to be made. The bread can be selected in 4 ways. Because there are 4 types, he has to select one bread. The size can be either small or large. That also can be selected in 2 ways. With respect to sauce, there are 6 available sauces. Suppose he is selecting no sauce. That can be done in one way. But suppose he is selecting exactly one sauce. That exact one sauce out of 6 available sauces can be selected in 6 ways. And suppose he is selecting 2 sauces. From 6 sauces, selecting 2 sauces can be done in 6C2 ways. 6C2 will be 6 into 5 divided by 2, which is equal to 15. So the sauces can be selected in 1 plus 6 plus 15, which is equal to 22 ways. So the total possibility will be 5 into 4 into 2, which is 40, into 22, which is the number of ways you can select the sauce. This will come to equal 880. So the answer for this particular question is option A, which is 880.
To crack CAT with confidence, you need a lot of practice and a lot of testing. And the questions that matter the most are the questions that have come in CAT previous year's paper. Each of these CAT previous year's paper you can attempt on Cracku. You can download it as a PDF or you can actually take it in the mock format. Not only that, but each of these questions has a detailed written solution as well as a video solution. You can take these in the mock format and later you can analyze your strengths and weaknesses. You can pinpoint the areas you need to improve in. So see how real CAT questions are asked, learn from the detailed solutions, so build speed, accuracy and confidence. So visit Cracku today and start solving our previous year's CAT papers.
In this question, we are told that there is a set of consecutive odd numbers, which is 1, 3, 5, dot, dot, dot till 57. And there is a number k such that sum of all the elements less than k is equal to sum of all the elements greater than k. So we have 1, 3, 5, 7, dot, 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 dot till 57. These are how many odd numbers? If you are including k, the total number of odd numbers is 29 odd numbers. Now, what do we know about the sum of consecutive odd numbers starting with 1? The quick way to solve it, if you know that, it will be easy. So let us just try to understand that first. The sum of the first odd number is 1. Sum of the first two odd numbers, 1 plus 3 is 4, which is 2 square. Sum of the first three odd numbers is 1 plus 3 plus 5, which is 9, is 3 square. Sum of the first four odd numbers is 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, which is equal to 16. This is 4 square. So the sum of the first n odd numbers, this is 1 plus 3 plus dot 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 dot. If there are n odd numbers, will be equal to n square. And in fact, you can also figure out what is the last number in this series. This will be 2n minus 1. Sum of the first n odd numbers starting with 1 is equal to n square. Here we have the sum of the first 29 odd numbers. So if you are including k, the sum of all of them, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus dot 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 till 57 will be equal to 29 square, which is equal to 841. What we are now told is, we have 1, 3, 5, dot 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 dot, we'll get k somewhere over here. These are all odd numbers, so they differ from each other by 2. Then you will have k plus 2 and dot 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 dot, and you have 57. Like we discussed earlier, the sum of all of them is 841. But we want to calculate k in such a way that the sum of all of these numbers is equal to the sum of all of these numbers. Now, if you are including k, the sum of all of them is 841. If you are removing k, the sum of all of these numbers without k is 841 minus k. So the sum of this part will be 841 minus k divided by 2. The sum of all of them is 841 minus k divided by 2. We are required to calculate the value of k such that it splits both parts equally. Now, what is the sum of all of these numbers? How many odd numbers are actually there over here? The number of odd numbers in this particular series will be equal to k minus 1. This is k minus 1 divided by 2 odd numbers. You can try to figure it out. How many odd numbers are there before 3? The number of odd numbers before 3 is 1, which is 3 minus 1 by 2. How many odd numbers are there before 5? There are 2 odd numbers before 5, which is 1 and 3. That is basically equal to 5 minus 1 by 2. If you are including 7 over here, how many odd numbers are there before 7? There are 3 odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, which is basically equal to 7 minus 1 divided by 2. So the number of odd numbers before k will be k minus 1 divided by 2. And the sum of this first k minus 1 divided by 2 odd numbers is equal to k minus 1 by 2 whole square. Remember what we discussed earlier? The sum of the first n odd numbers is always equal to n square. What we are saying is, if you have k over here and k is an odd number, the number of odd numbers before k is k minus 1 by 2. And the sum of all of them will be k minus 1 by 2 whole square. This has to equal 841 minus k by 2. So 841 minus k by 2 is equal to k minus 1 by 2 whole square, which is k minus 1 whole square by 4. This is 2 times 841 minus k is equal to k minus 1 whole square, or 1682 minus 2k is equal to k square minus 2k plus 1. You can cancel these two. K square is equal to 1681, or the value of k is equal to 41. So the answer for this particular question is that k is equal to 41. What we are essentially saying over here is, if you are writing all the odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, dot 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 dot, 39, 41, 43, dot 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 dot, 57, the sum of all of them is 841. From that, if you are removing 41, the sum is equal to 800. This 800 is divided such that it is 400 over here and 400 over here. What we are essentially saying is, how many odd numbers are there before 41? That is 1, 3, 5, 7, dot 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 till 39. The number of odd numbers is 41 minus 1 by 2, which is equal to 20. There are 20 odd numbers before 41. And what is the sum of the first 20 odd numbers? The sum of the first 20 odd numbers is 20 square, which is equal to 400 over here. So anyway, the answer for this particular question is equal to option A, which is 41. In this question, we are told that there are 3 guys, Arun, Varun and Tarun. If they're working around, they finish the job in 24 days, 21 days and 15 days. So we have Arun, we have Varun and we have Tarun. Arun finishes it in 24 days. Varun finishes it in 21 days. And Tarun finishes it in 15 days. We are also told how much money they charge per day. They charge 2160, 2400 and 2160 per day. This guy charges 2160 per day. This guy charges 2400 per day. And this guy charges 2160 per day. So what is the total amount charged by Arun? He charges 2160 per day and he finishes the job in 24 days. So total money charged by Arun is 24 into 2160. What is 24 into 2160? We can calculate it. 2160 into 24. This will be 8640 and 43200. This will come to equal 048. So he will charge a total of 51,840. What is the total money charged by Varun? The total money charged by Varun is 21 into 2400. What is 24 into 21? 24 into 21 will be, this is 24, this is 480. So this will be 504. So Varun will charge 21 into 2400, which will come to equal 50,400. And what is the total amount charged by Tarun? Tarun works for 15 days and every day he charges 2160. This will come to equal, what is 2160 into 15? This will be 10800 and this is 21600. So this will come to 0042. I think this is 32,400. So who charges the least amount of money? This guy charges the least amount of money. So if we want the work to be finished with the least amount of money, we should just hire Tarun. And the work will be finished in 15 days and it will cost a total of 32,400. But if you look at the question, what is told is that the job has to be finished in 10 days or less. Tarun is taking 15 days to finish it, but we want the work to be done in 10 days or less. This would imply that we have to hire one more guy so that the job will be finished earlier than 10 days. Who is the second least? Tarun is the least. The second least is Varun. So now what we'll do is, we'll get Tarun to work for 10 days and Varun, who is the second least, will work for how many ever days it takes so that the work is finished in 10 days. Tarun finishes the job in how many days? In 21 days. Sorry, Tarun finishes the job in 15 days. Varun finishes the job in 21 days. Now both of them have to work together so that the job is finished in 10 days. But again, we don't want to pay Varun a lot of money. We don't want him to work all the days and say the job gets finished in say 9 days. We don't want that. Tarun is the cheapest, so we'll get Tarun to work for all the 10 days. And whatever is the additional work that is remaining, only that part we'll give Varun. But we have to identify how many days Varun has to work. So to do that, let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the LCM, the least common multiple of 15 days and 21 days. This is 105 units. We can assume that total work to be any number. If you assume it to be the LCM, then many of the calculations become easy. So Tarun takes 15 days to do 105 units. So every day he does 7 units. Varun takes 21 days to do 105 units. So every day he does 5 units. We want Tarun to work for 10 days. So this guy will finish 70 units. How many days should Varun work? Should Varun work for all the 10 days? No, he doesn't need to work for all the 10 days because the total work that needs to be done is 105 units. Tarun himself has finished 70 units. The amount of units that is remaining is only 35 units. And Varun finishes 5 units every day. So Varun has to work only for 7 days. And in these 7 days, he will be doing 5 units of work every day. So this guy will finish 35 units. So to finish the total job in 10 days, we want Varun to work for 7 days and we want Tarun to work for 10 days. Why do we want Tarun to work for 10 days? Because Tarun is the cheapest and Varun is the second cheapest. So the total money that we will spend is 10 days into how much money is Tarun charging every day? Tarun is charging 2160 every day. Plus 7 days which Varun works and every day Varun is charging 2400. This will be 21,600 plus 16,800. This will come to equal 0, 0. This is 4, this is 1, 8 and this. This is 38,400 which will be option A. So the total money that they will spend is 38,400. In this question, we are told that there is one person called Kamala. She divided her investment of 1 lakh between stocks, bonds, and gold. So we have stocks, bonds, and gold. This was distributed such that her investment in bonds over here is 25% of her investment in gold. So if her investment in bonds is 25% of her investment in gold, if you assume that her investment in bonds is X, her investment in gold will be 4 times that, which is 4x. And therefore her investment in stocks will be the remaining amount, which is 1 lakh minus 5x. Now the annual returns are 10% in stocks, 6% in bonds, and 8% in gold. So what is the total money that she will make? It will be 10% into 1 lakh minus 5x, which is 10,000 minus x by 2, plus 6% of x, which is 6x by 100, plus 8% of 4x, which is 32x by 100. This is her total investment, the return on her investment that we are told is equal to 8,200. This would imply that 1800 is equal to, this will be 12x by 100, or the value of x, you can simplify, will be equal to 15,000. So the amount that she invested in bonds is 15,000. The amount she invested in gold is 4 times that, which is 60,000. And the remaining amount of 25,000 she invested in stocks. What are we asked to calculate? We are asked to calculate the amount that she gained from bonds. That is, what is 6% of 15,000? That will be 15,000 into 6 by 100. This is equal to 900. So the interest that she gains from bonds is 900 rupees. In this question, we are given two equations. The first equation is a minus 6b plus 6c is equal to 4. And the second equation is 6a plus 3b minus 3c is equal to 50. We are given two equations and we are asked to calculate the value of 2a plus 3b minus 3c. Now note that we are given only two equations and there are three variables. The three variables are a, b and c, but we have only two equations. So we can't calculate the value of a, b and c. We can't calculate the value of all three of them. So there has to be a different way in which we actually calculate the value of the required expression. To do that, one of the things that you should notice is that if you are looking at the coefficient of b and the coefficient of c, in both of the equations, the absolute value is the same. One of them is minus 6 and the other one is 6. Here it is 3 and minus 3. So if you find this kind of an equation, you can use a simple trick, which is that you assume that b minus c is a variable, say p. So this is simply equal to a minus 6 times b minus c is equal to 4. This is just the first equation. We are assuming that b minus c is equal to p. So we have a minus 6p is equal to 4. The second equation is 6a plus 3 times b minus c is equal to 50. That is 6a plus 3p is equal to 50. Now we have two equations, a and p. So you can calculate the value of a and p, which is what we'll try to do. You can multiply this equation with 2. You are going to get 12a plus 6p is equal to 100. To this equation, you can add this equation. You are going to get 13a is equal to 104, or the value of a is 8. The value of a is 8. What is a minus 6p? 8 minus 6p is equal to 4, or the value of 6p is equal to 4. So the value of p will be equal to 2 by 3. Now what are we required to calculate? What we are required to calculate is 2a plus 3 times b minus c. 2a plus 3 times b minus c is simply equal to 2a plus 3p. A is equal to 8, so this is 16, and p, like we have calculated, is 2 by 3. So 3p will be 2. So the required answer is 18. So the answer for this particular question is option C, which is equal to 18.
Stop wondering which IIMs will call you. Get the most accurate answer. Cracku's IIM call predictor analyzes everything: your academics, your work experience weightage, and even the JAB process, all based on the latest RTI data. Know the exact cutoffs and your precise chance in seconds. Ready for clarity? Just Google search Cracku IIM call predictor. Your personalized IIM report just is search away.
In this question, we are told that there are vertices PQR of a parallelogram PQRS. The vertices are given minus 3, minus 2, 1, minus 5, 9, 1. So we have minus 3, minus 2. What is this point? This is P. Then we have Q, which is 1, minus 5. So say this is Q, 1, minus 5. And we have R, which is 9, 1. This is R, which is 9, 1. And S will be somewhere over here. Let me draw this. Actually, this is PQ. This is QR. I'm assuming somewhere over here will be S. We are told that PQRS is a parallelogram. We can calculate the vertices of S. How do we calculate it? We know that the diagonals intersect each other. So we can easily calculate this point, O, because that will be the midpoint of P and R. What is the midpoint of P and R? You just take the sum of the x coordinates divided by 2, the sum of the y coordinates divided by 2. Basically the average of the x and y coordinates. This will be minus 3 plus 9 by 2, which is 3, comma minus 2 plus 1 by 2, which is minus 1 by 2. If you assume that x is, say, a comma b, a plus 1 by 2 will be equal to 3, or a is 5, and b minus 5 by 2 is equal to minus 1 by 2, or b is equal to 4. So this over here is 5 comma 4. Now we can easily calculate the equation of the line SQ. What is the slope of SQ? Slope is difference of the y coordinates divided by the difference of the x coordinates, which is 4 minus of minus 5, which is 9, divided by 5 minus 1, which is 4. This is the slope of the line. This is the slope of the line SQ. So the equation of SQ will be y minus, what is the y coordinate, which is 4, is equal to 9 by 4 into x minus, what is the x coordinate? It is 5. So every point on the line SQ will satisfy this given equation. Every point on that line satisfies this equation. S will satisfy this equation, O will satisfy this equation, Q will satisfy this equation. Every point on that particular line will satisfy this given equation. We are told that this line intercepts the x-axis at a point a comma 0. So a comma 0 also lies on the line SQ. Therefore, a comma 0 will also satisfy this equation. So we'll just substitute the value of x to be a and y to be 0. So this is minus 4 is equal to 9 by 4 into a minus 5. This is minus 16 is equal to 9a minus 45. Or 9a is equal to 29, a is equal to 29 by 9. So the answer for this particular question is option D, which is 29 by 9. In this question, we are given a circle with center S and radius 6 square root of 2. Let us assume that this is R. PQ and SR are two parallel chords separated by one of the diameters. So let us assume that this is the circle. We are given PQC is 45 degrees. Okay. Let us assume that this is PQ, this is SR, this is Q, this radius is given. Let us assume that this is radius r, this also is r, this is p, this is q. This PQC is given to be 45 degrees. Now, if you are looking at triangle PQR, it is an isosceles triangle because both the sides are equal to the radius. So, this also will be 45 degrees. In a triangle, if you are given two angles to be equal to 45 degrees, the third angle will be 180 minus 45, which is 90 degrees. So, this is a right angle triangle. So, the value of PQ can be calculated. This will be R root 2. Similarly, if you are joining this to the midpoint of the hypotenuse, remember that this will be equal to R by root 2, because this is R by root 2, this is R by root 2. In a right angle triangle, if you have a right angle triangle like this, the circumcenter will be the center of the hypotenuse. This will be hypotenuse divided by 2, this is hypotenuse divided by 2, because this is the midpoint of the hypotenuse. If you join this to the base of the right angle, this also will be half of the hypotenuse. Therefore, what we are saying over here is the distance of Q to the chord PQ, sorry, this is the distance of the center C to the chord PQ will be R by root 2. Let us assume that this is point A. We are given a ratio of the distance between PQ and SR. So, if PQ is R by root 2, we can calculate the distance to SR. What will that be? PQ divided by SR is 3 by 2. So, SR is 2 PQ by 3. PQ is R by root 2. So, this is 2 into R by root 2 into 1 by 3, which is equal to R root 2 divided by 3. So, this is R root 2 divided by 3. This is the radius R. This is S, and what is the other one? I think SR. If you assume that this point over here is B, which is the midpoint of the chord SR, we can calculate the length of SB because this is 90 degrees. CBS is a right angle triangle. The hypotenuse is equal to R. One of the side is equal to R root 3 by R root 2 by 3. So, BS can be calculated as square root of R square minus R root 2 by 3 whole square, which is 2R square by 9, which is equal to R root 7 by 3. Therefore, the value of SR will be twice of this, which is equal to 2R root 7 by 3. Now, we are asked to calculate the area of the quadrilateral PQRS. PQRS is a trapezium. PQRS, if you are just drawing PQRS, it will be like this. This is PQ, this is RS, this is P, Q, R, S. The length of PQ is known, that is R root 2. The length of BS is R root 7 by 3. Therefore, the length of RS, this entire thing, is 2R root 7 by 3. And we can calculate the length or the distance between both of these chords, because that will be R root 2 plus R root 2 divided by 3. If you simplify it, it will be R by root 2 plus R root 2 divided by 3, which is equal to 5R by 3 root 2. So, this distance is 5R by 3 root 2. So, what is the area of this trapezium? It is the sum of the parallel sides divided by 2 into the distance between them. That will be R 1 by 2 into 5R by 3 root 2 into R root 2 plus 2R root 7 by 3. R is 6 root 2. We will just substitute it over here. So, this will cancel, this will be 5 into 6 root 2 into root 2 is 12. plus 2 into 6 root 2 is 12 root 2 into root 7 by 3. This is equal to 5 into 12 plus 4 root 14. You can take 4 outside the bracket over here, and that will be 20 into 3 plus square root of 14. This will be the area of the quadrilateral. If you are looking at the options, that will be option C, which is 20 into 3 plus square root of 14. In this question, we are told that the ratio of the number of students in the morning shift and the afternoon shift is 13:9. So let us assume that the number of students in the morning shift is 13x. So the number of students in the afternoon shift, this will be equal to 9x. Now 21 students moved from the morning shift to the afternoon shift, and this ratio became 19:14. If 21 students moved from the morning to the afternoon shift, the number of students in the morning shift is 13x minus 21, and the number of students in the afternoon shift is 9x plus 21, and now the ratio is 19:14. So this would imply that 13x minus 21 divided by 9x plus 21 is equal to 19/14. We can cross multiply to get the value of x. So 13x minus 21 into 14 will be, this is 182x minus, what is 21 into 14? 21 into 14 is 294 is equal to, this is 171x plus 399, which is 21 into 19, or 11x is equal to 693, or the value of x is 63. So the number of students at the start is 13 into 63. What is 63 into 13? That will be 630 plus 189. This is 819. So the number of students at the start in the morning shift is 819. And the number of students in the afternoon shift is 63 into 9, which is 540 plus 27, which is 567. 21 students moved from the morning shift to the afternoon shift. So the number of students in the morning shift will be 198. And number of students in the afternoon shift will be 588. This is the current scenario. The number of students in the morning shift is 788. Number of students in the afternoon shift is 588. And we are told that new students joined in the morning and afternoon shifts in the ratio of 3:8. So let us assume that 3y students joined in the morning shift and 8y students joined in the afternoon shift. So the total number of students who joined is 11y, which is 3y plus 8y. And now the number of students in the morning shift is 798 plus 3y. Number of students in the afternoon shift is 588 plus 8y. And this ratio, we are told, is 5:4. If this ratio is 5:4, 798 plus 3y divided by 588 plus 8y is equal to 5/4. We can cross multiply. What is 798 into 4? This will be 3192 plus 12y is equal to 588 into 5 is 2940 plus 40y. Or if you are subtracting it, this will be 252 is equal to 28y, or the value of y is 9. If the value of y is 9, what is the total number of students who joined? 3y joined in the morning shift, 8y joined in the evening shift. Total number of students who joined is 11y. The value of y is 9. So the total number of students who joined is 11 into 9, which is 99. So the answer for this particular question is option D, which is 99. In this question, we are told that the length of the side of a rhombus is given, it is 36 centimeters, and the area of the rhombus is given, it is 396 square centimeters. We are asked to calculate the absolute difference in the lengths of the diagonals of the rhombus. So what do we know about a rhombus? If say this is a rhombus, each of the side of the rhombus is the same. That is one thing that we know about a rhombus. The other thing that we know about the rhombus is that the diagonals intersect each other at right angles. So if this is the rhombus that we are talking about, this angle over here will be 90 degrees. This will be 90 degrees. This will be 90 degrees. And this will be 90 degrees. We are also told that each side of the rhombus is 36 centimeters. So this is 36, this is 36, this is 36, and this is 36. Let us assume that each of the diagonal is of length, one of them is say 2a and the other one is say 2b. So what we are required to calculate is 2b minus 2a. The absolute value of it is what we are looking for. So this will be a, this will be a, this will be b, and this will be b. Now using Pythagoras theorem, in this particular right angle, which is a right angle triangle, the hypotenuse is 36. So a square plus b square is equal to 36 square, which is equal to 1296. We are given the area of the rhombus. Area of the rhombus is 396 square centimeters. What do we know about the area of the rhombus? It is half into diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. Here the length of the first diagonal we assumed is 2a, length of the second diagonal we assumed is 2b. So this is equal to 396, that is half into length of the first diagonal, which is 2a, into length of the second diagonal, which is 2b, is 396, or the value of 2ab is equal to 396. A square plus b square is 1296. So a square plus b square minus 2ab will be equal to 1296 minus 396, which is equal to 900. Or the value of a minus b whole square is 900, which is equal to 30 square. Therefore, the value of b minus a, the absolute value of it, will be equal to 30. But remember that the diagonals are of length, this is a and this is a, so 2a, and the other diagonal is b and b, which is 2b. So what we are required to calculate is 2 times b minus 2 times a, which will come to equal 60. So the answer for this particular question will be equal to 60.
DILR feels unpredictable. It's not luck, it's a smart set selection. Many fear DILR, but how does CAT actually frames the paper? There are definitely solvable sets when you learn to navigate and pick sets from your comfort zone. And for set selection strategy, PYQs are your best resource. We team Cracku have compiled CAT DILR questions all at one place. Just Google CAT DILR questions to practice, analyze, watch video solution and download PDFs.
In this question, we are told that there is a quadratic equation given which is x square minus 5x plus k, and we are asked to calculate the number of non-negative integer values that k can take, which is the constant term, such that this has only integer roots. So if the two roots are say a and b belong to integers. Now we also know from a quadratic equation that the value of a plus b is 5 and the value of a into b is equal to k. How do you know that a plus b is equal to 5? Because if you are given a quadratic equation which is of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the sum of roots is equal to minus b by a, and the product of roots is equal to c by a. So in this particular case, if the two roots are a and b, a plus b will be 5 and a into b will be k. So what are the values that a plus b can take? If a plus b is equal to 5, a and b can be either 0 and 5 or 1 and 4 or 2 and 3, or the other way around where they will be just exactly opposite, 3 and 2, 4 and 1 and 5 and 0. In each of these cases, we can calculate the value of a into b. So a into b will be in this particular case 0 into 5, which is 0, 1 into 4, which is 4, 2 into 3, which is 6, 3 into 2 also will be 6, 4 into 1 will be 4, and 5 into 0 will be 0. So essentially, the three values of the quadratic equation will be x square minus 5x is equal to 0. This is when k is equal to 0, or x square minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. This is when k is equal to 4 or x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. This is when the value of k is equal to 6. So the values that k can take are either 0 or 4 or 6. So the answer for this particular question is that k can take 3 values. In this question, we are told that a shopkeeper offers a discount of 22% on the mark price of every chair. Let the mark price of a chair be equal to m. This would tell us that the selling price, because the discount given is 22%, the selling price of a chair is 0.78 m. Now he gives 13 chairs to a customer for the discounted price of 12 chairs. What is the discounted price of 12 chairs? The discounted price is 12 into 0.78 m. But maybe he knows this customer, for the price of 12 chairs, he is actually giving 13 chairs. So the effective selling price is 12 into 0.78 m divided by 13. Because the numerator is the total amount of money he actually received for selling 13 chairs. So the selling price of each chair is 12 into 0.78 m divided by 13. 0.78 divided by 13 is 0.06 into 12 is 0.72. So the effective selling price is 0.72 m. Now he earns a profit of 26% on the transaction. What we know is that selling price is equal to 1 plus profit percentage into cost price. Here the profit percentage is 26%. So selling price is 1.26 into cost price. So this is equal to 1.26 into cost price, or the cost price is equal to 0.72 m divided by 1.26. We are given the cost price. We are told that the cost price is 100 rupees. We are required to calculate the mark price. So 100, which is the cost price, is equal to 0.72 m divided by 1.26, or the value of m is equal to 126 divided by 0.72, which is equal to 126 into 100 divided by 72. This is 18. This is 25. 126 divided by 18 is 7. So the mark price is 175. So the answer for this particular question is 175.
Every serious CAT aspirant needs a secret weapon for the revision. This is yours, the Cracku CAT Formula PDF. It is not just a list, it's comprehensive and topic-wise guide for every formula you'll ever need to know. We've built it to be only formula sheet you'll ever need for your preparation, and we're giving it away for free. Find it easily. Just go to Google and search Cracku CAT Formula PDF. Download it, master it, and walk into the exam with confidence.